You are now tuned in to Today with Pastor Jay on WNZF News Radio, where we discuss inspiring and informative news. And now here's your host, Pastor Jerlyn Denny.
Good morning, wake up, good morning. This is Today with Pastor Jay on WNZF, where each week we bring you real conversations that inspire faith, hope, and action. Today, we're diving into a powerful topic, recovery, healing, and second chances. My guest is Michael Feldbauer, the Executive Director of Flagler County Drug Court Foundation and a host of the podcast Road to Recovery. He's helping people in our community find restoration and a new way forward. So, Michael, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you, Pastor Jay. I appreciate you offering to have me on to have this discussion.
I'm excited having you here. So, Michael, what first led you to the work of recovery and eventually into the Drug Court Foundation?
Well, I think most of your community knows who Pastor Solano is.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, after moving here in 2006 to Palm Coast and retiring in early 2007, I needed things to do. And I thought this is the time to start giving back. I had more of a scheduled time to do that. And I got to meet Pastor Charles, and I ended up being a volunteer out at the food pantry, Grace Community Food Pantry, for about 5 years. And during that period of time, toward the end of that 5-year period, Pastor had a desire to open up a recovery house in Flagler County to help people in recovery from drugs and alcohol. And having an administrative background that I do, I joined him and we helped open up Open Door Reentry Recovery Ministries here in Flagler. And that got me involved deeply into the road to recovery. And our first clients came from the Flagler County Drug Court program, which got me introduced to the drug court. After a period of time, we found it was very difficult to take our particular participants from drug court because drug court has a very extensive program, and so did Pastor Solano's Open Door Reentry Ministry. So the decision that Pastor made was to stop taking participants from the drug court. He would vet them individually from the jail and for other places and bring them into the ministry to keep that going. And at that time, the drug court asked me to stay on. So I made a decision that maybe it'd be better if we have coming from two different directions in our community. And so I stayed on with the drug court. And then shortly after staying on with them, I got involved with the Drug Court Foundation, which had been started in 2009 by some local community members and a couple of members of the actual drug court team back then, and got involved with them and eventually got roped into some of the rough positions that needed help. And at a point in time, at one point in time, the current president or executive director, whichever you want to call us, it doesn't matter. We just don't call us late.
I know that's right.
Developed a medical issue and stepped down, and I was asked to step up. So that's how it got me involved.
Okay. So you didn't retire; you just, refired, as you can say, as we say.
That's exactly it. At my company that I work for, when they had the retirement party for me, I said, I'm not. I'm just going to be changing.
So tell us about your podcast, Road to Recovery. What stories do you share, and why do they matter?
Well, going back a couple of years ago, we were trying to find a better way to get the word out into our community and what's going on in the world of recovery here in Flagler County. And since I was involved with the drug court, I had a lot of people that I could deal with on both sides, those coming into the recovery world and those that are helping in the recovery world. And I thought it was an important thing to get more information out into our community. And podcasts at that time were starting to become more and more popular. So I decided, okay, I'm going to set up a podcast studio in my office at my home to develop and to put on and to bring people that are in the program so they can tell their story, people that have graduated the program so they can tell their story, family members that could tell the story how they've suffered through what their kids and family members have gone through. And I started gathering up equipment and stuff like that. And then a friend of mine who I understand you've talked to recently too, Alan Lowe, was looking to get a better word out when he was running in his political world. And Alan and I were friends, so we got talking and said, why should we start two different podcast things? Mm-hmm. We got together and formed one studio.
Wow.
And each of us had our own podcast. Mine was The Road to Recovery, which we want to get the word out to Flagler County and surrounding of what's happening about substance abuse in Flagler County, what's out there to help people that are involved with substance abuse, and how we can help families that have been involved in it. And that's how that started, and that's how it's going. And we have, if you go on to the Flagler Voice YouTube channel or their Facebook page, and then tag on to the Road to Recovery, you can see many of the ones that we've already done. I'll warn you, sometimes you need a box of toilet tissue paper with you. But there are also some great happy stories that people have successfully taken that road to recovery.
Just recently, you organized a bridge walkover for the International Overdose Awareness Day. What did that event mean to you personally, and what message did it send to our community? Okay.
Well, let's go back just a little bit. We've been doing August is International Overdose Awareness. August 31st is always International Overdose Awareness Day. And for the last 7 years, we've tried to hold events to bring the community out to understand what's going on. And we've done the walk over the bridge, and we start at Wadsworth Park and then going to Veterans Park in Flagler Beach, I think for the last 4 years. And it has been growing every year. We have people there that, again, talk about their own personal experiences being overdosed and how they've been saved. We have family members that have lost children and relatives to overdose, so people can get a better understanding of what's happening in that world. This year, we were looking forward. Things were really building. We was looking forward. It was going to be the biggest one we ever had. And then, of course, our weather.
Right.
The threat of bad weather it was still a good turnout, but it did change some of the things we do. But it's a time that people can share their stories, and sometimes just for them, it's a good way of getting it out and dealing with it. It's a time where if you're unaware of what's happening, it's a good time to get together and find out. I always tell people, you can be part of the solution or part of the problem. There's no in between. And how do you become part of the solution? It's getting to understand what's going on.
Right. Why is faith such an important part of recovery?
Say again?
Why is faith such an important part of recovery?
For me, it's the key. And whether you're looking at it as I look at it from my religious beliefs, or you look at it just from somebody it's hope. Okay? If you can't get to people to realize there's always hope. And hope and faith can't be separated. So that's why faith is so important part, to give them hope. You can do it. One of the things that we've gotten more involved with over the last several years, since basically the end of 2019 and 2020, is that the Flagler County Drug Court Foundation was the first nonprofit in Flagler County to get a grant to give Narcan away, which is a lifesaver when it comes to opiate overdoses. That got us involved with more education into our community, not just to dealing with people that are having the experience, but to letting everybody know a little bit more. Part of our goals is to reduce the stigma that people have when they're in substance abuse. That is one of the things that hold them there. And doing that is we need to educate our community. Why does somebody get involved? You know, even in my old day, before I got really more involved and have learned a lot since I've been doing this, you know, you hear, well, it was just a bad choice they made. But what caused the bad choice? Well, in 90+% of the bad choices were made because of trauma in that person's life that was not dealt with. And they get involved with substances that make them think they feel better about it. It covers the pain. And based on your individual bodies, some people, the first time you do it, hooks you. And some it just takes more. But we have to understand what causes. I mean, the government considers substance abuse as a disease, okay? Because the medical department has figured that out.
All right. Well, this segment is brought to you by Church on the Rock, Judah One Aviation, and Great Eagle Strategies, partners who believe in faith, purpose, and community. You're listening to Today with Pastor Jay. Stay tuned. More with Michael Feldbauer and the Road to Recovery right after this.
Running for office takes more than ambition. It takes strategy grounded in data. At Grey Eagle Strategies, we specialize in campaign planning, targeted voter outreach, and message development backed by real-time analytics. Our data-driven approach ensures every decision is smart, strategic, and focused on results. Whether you're running for local city council or Congress, win your campaign with Grey Eagle Strategies. Visit www.greyeagleco.com to learn more.
Hey, this is James Bellino, pastor of Church on the Rock, and I want to personally invite you to our services on Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Our church is located at Route 1 in Bunnell, and we offer a service that seeks the Holy Spirit to be led and guided in the kingdom of God's people coming together to be trained and equipped and then to be sent out into the community. Christ said to make disciples, to go throughout the earth, and that's our call, and that's our belief at Church on the Rock. Visit our website at churchontherockpc.com.
Welcome back to Today with Pastor Jay, and I'm here with Michael Feldbauer, Executive Director of the Flagler County Drug Court Foundation and host of Road to Recovery. And before the break, you were talking about the stigma, about those who are dealing with it and the root causes.
Right.
I want you to go ahead and finish that conversation.
Okay. Let's just so people understand, how do people get involved with substance abuse? In the 12, 13 years that I've been doing this now, I've not met one person that started off wanting to become an addict. Okay? We have to look at what caused it. Most of it's caused by early life trauma. Some of it's caused because of medical issues and people didn't take care of the medicines that were given, caused them to become addicted to it. But we have to be able to get involved in treating that, okay, not just covering it with a Band-Aid, but for the community to help people in recovery. If I keep saying, Pastor Jay, you'll be nothing for the rest of your life, nothing but a bum. You're just terrible person. After a while, you hear it long enough, you believe it.
Well, death and life is in the power of the tongue. So
that's it. We have to change
words can tear down or build up. That's so true.
Mm-hmm. So as I said earlier, right before the break, you can be part of the problem or part of the solution. Part of the solution is we have a better attitude. Okay, we get an understanding. Can
you share a story of someone whose life was transformed through the program?
I sure can. We had a young man, one of these experiences that his substance abuse was because of a medical thing. It was in a severe automobile accident at age 13. And until he got into the drug court program at, I believe it was age 29 or 30, he had never been without pain medication. And of course, most of those later years, doctors weren't issuing the prescriptions anymore. So he was buying it off the street. So you're looking at 20 some odd years of substance abuse with opiate medications. He came through the program, did extremely well, made a decision. He made a decision. He wanted it now, okay, because that's an important factor. And since he was in the program, and I think when he hit age 31 to his current age now, never even had an aspirin. He still has pain from this accident. He jokes a little bit. He can't go through a metal detector without getting stopped. He's got so much of that. But that's just one thing. And then we have people that had early life trauma that had come through the program and they just thought terrible things about themselves. Okay? And they had to get to the point where somebody could help them and guide them, but if they want it, okay, I will emphasize that. You got to want it in order to accept the help. To go through this and find out, you are worthwhile. You are worthwhile. What you've been through doesn't make you a bum, a louse, a terrible person. You've been subject to this addiction. That addiction, when it comes to drugs and alcohol, can cause you to do things that are illegal. I tell my people, my addiction was cigarettes. At one point in time, I was up to 2 packs a day. Mm. And nicotine is more difficult to give up than almost any other drug there is out there. And
they say it's more addictive than heroin.
Yep. I quit 6 times and relapsed 6 times. And then finally I came up with a reason on the 7th time, and thank God it's been like 43 years since I've had my last one. But I understand it. The difference between me as a cigarette smoker and somebody that's involved with drugs is I wasn't going to get arrested for it. I wasn't going to, people weren't going to look down on me. They might get disgusted because you're smoking. But it's different.
Right.
It's different.
What are some of the biggest challenges people face on the road to recovery?
Well, again, I think the number one thing is stigma. And then once in our program, because people have, in order to get into the drug court, you have to have been 18 or older with a felony arrest. Nonviolent, non-sexual, but it's going to be drug related in somehow.
Well, you said they have to have a felony arrest. So how many programs are there without the felony arrest?
Not enough.
That's the sad part.
Some people call me the county antagonist.
Okay.
Okay.
I've been called worse.
Because
it's okay.
Because
You're in good company.
My definition of an antagonist is somebody sees there's something wrong. No one is doing anything about it, and you can or think you can, so you do it. Mm-hmm. And part of that is getting people to understand. So the county, and I'm not talking about just government. It can't be government only. It's got to be government and community working together, recognizing that sometime in the last 7 or 8 years, Flagler County has been between the 2nd and 10th highest overdose county in the state of Florida.
Wow. Based
on population. And one of those years, we were the highest overdose death counties. Now, we've had some improvements. We go up and down. The road is a rocky one. So people have to understand it. So I'm out there being whatever. I say I'd rather people being helped than our median divides the grass cutters cutting and making it greener out there. We have a beautiful community. We need to get together and help our people. That's why we were the highest overdose, we're the highest overdose suicide county for the longest time too. We have to get involved, and it takes both private, business, and community government together. Not one of those organizations can do it on their own. And then we have to go deeper. A lot of the treatment providers, not necessarily here, but that I've visited with all over the state, they get involved as if it was just a little cut and they put a Band-Aid on it. They don't get involved with the infection. Well, and that's what we have to do.
How can family and friends best support loved ones going through addiction and recovery?
That's really tough for them because too often the families become enablers. Okay, and that is a big issue, and there has to be more training for the families to understand when to say no. Okay,
that's a good point.
When you see your loved one going through this,
it's tough.
It tears your heart up. But just there's time and place for what you can say okay and not okay too.
All right. Well, this portion of Today with Pastor Jay is brought to you by Judah One Aviation, Church on the Rock, Great Eagle Strategies, supporting leaders who believe in second chances. Don't go away. We'll be right back with more on the road to recovery. Immediately following Today with Pastor Jay at 8:30 a.m., you'll go from hearing me on a talk show to hearing me in my church service. Join me, Geraldine Ministries Reverse Church, by dialing in 904-701-7177. Listen, you don't have to get up to go to church now. You can just call in 904-701-7177. Dial in and listen to the Word of God today.
When disaster strikes or missionaries need to reach the unreached, Judah One is there. We provide aviation support to those spreading the gospel, delivering food, medical aid, and hope where it's needed most. Every takeoff is a mission. Every landing is a lifeline. Answer the call. Pray, give, or go. Judah One. Your hands, God's love, our wings. Visit JudahOne.com to learn more.
Welcome back to Today with Pastor Jay, and I'm continuing my conversation with Michael Feldbauer, helping lead the way in recovery through the Flagler County Drug Court Foundation. Today's scripture reflection is Psalms 147:3, and it says, He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. And that's the promise of God, that no matter how deep the hurt, He is able to bring healing. And that's really what recovery is about, restoring lives, mending families, and offering hope. So, Mike, how can our listeners support the mission of the Flagler County Drug Court Foundation?
Okay, we're always looking for two main things. Obviously, we need funding. We need money. And we are a nonprofit in the county. We're a small group. Okay, we're a 100% volunteer organization. So that's one way. So if you want to support us, you can go to our website, which is fcdcfoundation.org, and go to donate. Or you can give me a call if you want more information at 401-864-6997. Or we're looking for people that have different personal skills and giftings that God has given them to help people to come on board and be part of the foundation. So if you have that desire, we'd love to talk to you. We always need more people, because the more people we have, the less burdens there are on individuals within the group to take care of things like that. We have two major fundraisers in the year, one in the spring, which is a golf tournament that we've been running for now. And then coming up November 1st, we have what we call our Ride for Recovery. It targets motorcycles, Jeeps, Broncos, four-wheels all over. We have a good time. And it's not just about the money, though money's important there. But then again, we get to mingle with the community and let them know what's going on and try to get them involved and understanding.
If someone is listening right now and they're struggling or love someone who is, what's the first step they can take toward recovery?
Well, the first step is to find some organization like us that we can direct them to places that would be better helpful for them. The Flagler County Drug Court Foundation, we are not a treatment provider. Okay, so we need to direct them to places that we're aware of. Okay, we do mentor people in the program and outside the program. We've expanded. We don't limit our help to people just in the program, which is a predominance that comes first because of how we were founded. But if you're outside the program, we can also offer different help and direction, and that's it. We need to get more organizations that have hearts. Okay?
I know that.
Anybody who wants to become one of our people, they have to have a heart for helping people, because it's obviously not about the money. Okay? I won't go into my comments any further on that, but you all know what I'm talking about.
We do. So what's your prayer or vision for the future of recovery in Flagler County?
Well, my prayer is, again, the community gets to have a better understanding of what's going on, and that we start providing more places, even for people that are not in recovery, that they can go and enjoy time without drugs and alcohol being the focus. Okay? I'd love to have a sober club in our community where people, my wife and I, we don't drink, not because we were, but we had other reasons to make sure it wasn't in our house. Where do we go if we want to have a good time?
You're right. There's no place.
There is no place. So that's one of my dreams. My dreams and hope, too, that the Flagler County Drug Court Foundation would end up having at least one women's facility and one men's facility housing sober living, because people in the drug court program here have to have a legal Flagler address. And a lot of them have burnt their bridges, and they don't have places to go. So we'd like to do that. Those are long range because they are very costly, both of them. But those are things that we're hoping that we can get the community to get behind and help us with. If anybody wants to talk with us in person, we're always down the first Friday down at Flagler Beach. We set up down there. We talk to people about what's going on. We give the free Narcan out. We instruct places. We provide our Narcan team provided Narcan for the entire Flagler County school system. It was a big project that our team worked on with the school board, and we got it into all the schools. Our county tax department came to us. They said, we have 100,000 people coming through our doors.
Wow.
We need to have that. So we did a training for the tax department and supplied them. Our team trained the Flagler County Health Department.
Oh, wow. So that's super cool.
There's so many things we can do.
Right. Well, I want to thank you again, Michael, for sharing that, and we get the information out to the community and your heart in what you do. for Flagler County. So today, Michael reminded us that recovery isn't just possible. It's a journey of healing, hope, and second chances. God is still in the business of restoring lives. So I'll leave you with this. Yesterday is gone. Tomorrow isn't promised. What are you going to do today? Maybe today you reach out for help. Maybe you extend grace to someone fighting their battle. Maybe you simply pray for healing in our community. Until next time, I'm Pastor Jay, and this has been Today with Pastor Jay on WNZF News Radio. Have a blessed day. God bless you.